The U.S. administration has just labeled 5 Chinese media organizations foreign missions, meaning the staff members are not journalists, but foreign government functionaries subject to similar rules as foreign diplomats. The move, according to the New York Times, comes at a time when the U.S. administration has moved aggressively on multiple fronts to fight what officials describe as extensive Chinese influence and intelligence operations in the United States. Am I surprised? No. This is not the first time that we've been labeled this or that. First as foreign agents, now as foreign functionaries. I'm sure this is not going to be the last time either. But I'm outraged. I'm outraged because the work to help the U.S. general public better understand 1/5 of the world's humanity has just taken a hit. The Chinese media are not there to take vacations. They are there to bring a different side of China to the local and international audiences. And it's no secret where these organizations come from. Just like people all know where the Voice of America, BBC, France 24, DW or TRT come from. If anyone has a problem with any particular reports, well, raise it and we can talk. But to discredit entire media organizations because of the ideology of the country they come from, that's a very cheap and honestly cowardice way out. I'm outraged because the China bashing in U.S. mainstream media is likely to go even further in pitching the American people against China. They're already being fed a daily dose of negative rhetoric about China. Take this fight against the coronavirus as an example. What we are seeing is piece after piece questioning the system, the efforts of the Chinese government. Okay, China was not quick enough to handle the situation in the beginning, but is there a perfect government? It took the U.S. 6 months to declare a national emergency during the H1N1 pandemic in 2009. Did China journalists go out and chastise the U.S. over that? People call for transparency. Okay, I understand that, and I think it is important too. But in the eyes of the China critics, no amount of transparency will suffice. China has made a huge effort, and things have actually improved tremendously. Over 30,000 medical staff from around the country have been brought in to Wuhan, the epicenter of the epidemic, to help. The whole country basically mobilized itself to stay at home for 2 weeks to prevent the virus from spreading among the Chinese people, not to mention the rest of the world. And hundreds of billions of dollars have been pumped into the market to help businesses survive the financial difficulties. How much credit has the U.S. mainstream media given the Chinese government? Hardly any. Is that a fair picture? The Chinese state is not a perfect one, but it's definitely not the evil actor it's portrayed to be by many in the American media. Those who complain about China's influence on the American public opinion should be grateful that China has spent the money to bring truth about the world to the American living rooms. I'm outraged because there's a stark difference when you compare the kind of reaction towards 2 similar developments concerning the media. China revoked the credentials of 3 journalists from the Wall Street Journal because the paper's refusal to retract or apologize for a piece that's deeply offensive to the Chinese people. The world was aghast. Wow, China stifling freedom of expression. But when the U.S. government completely ignores the rules of free press and labels entire media organizations foreign agents or foreign missions, there is deafening silence. By discrediting Chinese media organizations, is the U.S. safeguarding press freedom? As long as there is a systematic attack and smear campaign against China, either as a country or as a people, my colleagues and I have a right and an obligation to speak up and push back. Here, let's not play the game of separating the Chinese government and the Chinese people. Those who attack the Chinese state are doing just the opposite of what they claim, which is to help the Chinese people. Take a look at what is being done about the virus. Without a strong country where the government and the people work as one, not only would China be at stake, but the whole world too.